in. Hey, welcome. Listen, y'all, I have really been thinking about my priestesshood, thinking about my studies, thinking about where I'm going with Cass Young Crowned and how I can support the Crown Collective during their level up journey, during their spiritual journeys, right? And yesterday I did a beautiful message. At least I thought it was very beautiful about being in preparation for your blessings. Tap in. And in that channeled intuitive reading and message, I talked about how if you are not in preparation for your blessings, thank you, Travis, for your blessings, and if you do not do the work, then you can miss your blessings or be unprepared to receive the full bounty of your blessings, right? And sometimes, y'all, I gotta be real with you. Sometimes I feel like there's a lot of contradiction in speaking life into you because there's so much happening in the world today that feels counterintuitive to receiving blessings. Tap in. This is how I'm feeling right now. I don't know if you feel the same way, and if you do, let me know. If you don't, that's okay as well. Tap in. So I pulled a few cards to start me out, like to kind of feel my way through how I want to channel this message. And as I pulled the cards, I pulled the card Drama Queen, I pulled the card Love in Reverse, and then Spiritual Bad. So after I pulled those cards, I was like, wow, this is extremely powerful because the collective is clearly going through a lot of drama. Not kid drama where it's like he say, she say, not that type of drama, excuse me. But drama where it's almost unescapable. You cannot escape what's happening outside your window. You cannot escape the oppression that you feel for your people, for your community, for your livelihood. The world is rapidly changing. And I feel like that is heavy on the collective's mind because we feel these shifts consistently, wholly. Okay. And I feel them, and I feel them so much. It's becoming so enraging to me, the injustices that are happening, and I can't split myself into 50,000 different people and try to solve this issue and that issue. I can't be like Iron Man and be like, I brought in world peace, you're welcome. I can't do that, right? So it's enraging to me, and to the point where I'm like shutting down from the news. And I'm someone who is heavily into politics and change and justice and what the community is doing. And I find myself more and more like shutting down from this level of information because it's heart wrenching to see what's going on outside of my window, knowing that there's very little that I can do about it. So I picked up my Bible. Tap in. And this Bible was my grandmother's. Okay. I've told many stories about my grandmother here. She lived well into her 90s. She was a citizen of the kingdom of Christ. She was amazing. You guys would have absolutely loved her. I wish I would have started her YouTube channel later on in life, but that didn't happen. But anyway, she had this handwritten note here at the front. And it says, prep for prayer, Ephesians 6:18. So I went to Ephesians 6 and I went to 18. And it says, never stop praying, especially for others. Always pray by the power of the Spirit. Stay alert and keep praying for God's people. Pray that I will be given the message to speak and that I may fearlessly explain the mystery about the good news. I was sent to do this work, and that's the reason I am in jail. So pray that I will be brave and will speak as I should. So I was like, whoa, that's actually yes, she is. Thank you, Travis. I said, wow, that's actually quite beautiful. And then my eyes slid over to the other side of that message. And my eyes slid over, and it says here, slaves and masters. And I was like, oh, okay, tap in, right? So I'm like, oh, this getting juicy because you know the Bible be juicy with the tea, right? So I slide over and I'm like, oh, slaves and masters. Let me see what it says. And for some reason, I have heard this passage brought up multiple times, especially in the United States, especially when it comes to one of the most horrific crimes against humanity, which was chattel slavery. Tap in. And in addition to chattel slavery, I want to be very careful with my language, the disruption of growth with the natives on this land. Okay, I hope that I want to be very, clean with my language. And so when I'm reading this, I'm like, this is it. This is what people use. This is what nationalists use in order to, thank you, in order to justify that a certain group of people had a right to enslave others. So let me read this real quick so we up on game. Okay, this is Ephesians 6:5. It says, slaves, you must obey your earthly masters. Show them great respect and be as loyal to them as you are to Christ. It goes on to say, try to please them at all times and not just when you think they are watching. You are slaves of Christ. So with your whole heart, you must do what God wants you to do. Gladly serve your masters as though they were the Lord himself and not simply people. You know that you will be rewarded for any good things you do, whether you are slaves or free. And most people just in there, right? Like that's it. Like, oh, the guy said you a slave. You gotta serve me. You gotta do right by me. You gotta treat me as if I am God. But they don't never ever collective continue on to Ephesians 6:9. Okay, and it says, slave owners, you must treat your slaves with this same respect. Tap in. Are we with each other here? I'm going somewhere with this. Don't threaten them. They have the same masters in heaven that you do, and he doesn't have any favorites. Tap in. Now listen, when I read that, I said he doesn't have any favorites. I said, wait a minute. So the hating hoe in the back that been gunning for me, trying to destroy me, I can't be a favorite over that person. Listen, okay, I get it. All right. I have to check myself a lot when I'm reading this book, because again, I'm still new in my priestesshood. I'm still new in relearning a lot of things that or not just relearning, but learning a lot of things that were taught to me incorrectly as a kid. And now that I'm adult and I've lived a life, I kind of have a better understanding. I have a better understanding of what's presented in front of me, right? So I'm reading this and I'm like, this don't sit right with my heart. This does not sit right with my chest, with my spirit. This feels inherently wrong to read that as a slave, you got to treat your master as if they were God, and then turn around and have the masters treat the slaves the same way. And I'm just like, how exactly does that work? Okay, tap in. Now, how exactly does that work? So my grandmother has a number of study Bibles, right? So I went to a few and I was reading, and I said, well, let me go back to the beginning of this message. And so this is a study Bible, or a version of a study Bible. And this is for, oops, did I lose it? Okay, here it is. This is allegedly from Paul. I say allegedly. This is a letter allegedly written by Paul. The reason why I say allegedly is because scholars are arguing whether or not Paul actually wrote this letter or if it was one of his followers that wrote it, okay? I'm not a theologist, okay? I'm not. So I don't have any credentials to teach this. This is just my interpretation, what I'm learning, and how I am applying this to our lives as a collective, because I started out this message talking about how the collective is responding to oppression while still trying to be good and do good. Tap in. And that there's a lot that we cannot control in our systems, in our worlds, in our lives, and that it hurts. It is infuriating that we cannot stop what's happening around the globe. It is infuriating that we are looking what's happening yet again in the Middle East, in South Africa, in Southern Africa, in Eastern Africa, West Africa, the Libyan slave trade. We got Ukraine and Russia doing whatever the heck they want to do. We got, listen, woes on top of wars on top of wars. Okay, tap in. Then we got to deal with what's happening in our own land. We got to deal with what's happening outside our windows, within our families, within our communities. It's just a lot going on. And I know that the collective is feeling completely overwhelmed. So wouldn't it have, it's just by, not even by happenstance, but it's just by the grace of God that I was able to open up this Bible, read this passage, and my eyes glide over to the other side. So I'm sitting here like, yo, how do I interpret this? So when I see that Paul was writing this during and inside Ephesians, excuse me, he was already writing to a well-established, tap in society. This slavery was already ingrained into this country. It was a part of their economy, the same way it was in the United States. So he was not going there. Paul wasn't. He wasn't writing this letter to say abolish everything, because that's like me saying I'm a follower of God. That's like me saying I am learning about the ways of Christ. So I'm going to go out here and I'm going to go holler at Donald Trump and be like, change all this. That's not going to happen. We are dealing with multiple layers of multiple systems of multiple places across the globe, and the collective is feeling all of that. Again, not a theology teacher, just reading and learning and bringing it to y'all as I read and learn, okay? That is a wrong interpretation of that scripture. And I want you to go back and read it for yourself and learn much better. But you're not going to get me off my game, because I have a deeper message that I want to give to the collective, okay? So, even though you tried to come in here and be so wrong about it. So, what Paul or his teacher was essentially providing was everyone who is a follower of Christ, everyone who believed in God, that Christ was the Son of God. He was providing a framework, no matter where you were in the world, where you were, what your status was. It was an all-around framework, okay, on how to maintain your faith, even if you are in oppression. Paul, or his follower, we're going to just say Paul for now, was saying in this letter, listen, I cannot change this entire system. I cannot do that. What I can do is say that the spiritual, what is happening inside, must be met at a certain standard. And those that do not meet this certain standard will fall into the trap of demonhood. Tap in. Because if you ain't falling into the word of God, then you are misinterpreting, misusing purposefully his words on how to serve God. Tap in. Tap in. So the collective, as I feel it, as I interpret it, is living under so many systems of injustice, so many systems of oppression. We looking at the demons in high places, the evil in high places, the wickedness in high places that's coming on TV telling us straight up like, oh, thank God, I believe in God. And we gotta say like, yo, You believe in the same person I believe in or not? You following the same book I'm following or not? Because what you saying and what this book is saying ain't matching up. So what's the real deal Holyfield here? And that is a hard pill to swallow for the collective. And I believe that contributes to the high level of anxiety, of frustration, of pain, because the Bible does not solve the reality of systematic injustice. Tap in. That is a hard pill to swallow, especially when we have people who use this word to manipulate the masses, to put on a face to pretend that they are doing the same things that you are doing, to walk in alignment with God and your purpose. Tap in. That's why it feels so enraging. I feel it too. Ooh, I feel it too. I'm sorry, Coco. So what I'm pulling out is that the contradiction that you're feeling is valid. The anger that you are feeling is valid. Because as you walk your path, as you stay in alignment with God, as you go deeper into your purpose, as you understand the ways in which God uses you to be a light in this world, you still got to fight through all of that energy to even show up in a way that feels appropriate, that feels like you're making a change. This is what made the gospel truly dangerous. Let me tell y'all something. Going around saying, like, my grandma used to say this all the time. She was saying, she was like, being a Christian these days, that's the cool thing to do. But you got to think back then, when the gospel was being spread across the globe, not like how it was with the crusades, not like that. But when it was being spread, when people were taking the message across the globe in the way like this, being a Christian was a slight against you. Tap in. Saying that you follow Christ was a slight against you. People was throwing rocks at your head, literally. So you got to think. Paul was writing this letter, and Paul was going into these established economies where slavery was real. It was a part of a livelihood. And saying to a slave master, you got to treat your slave as if they were God. Okay? And the slave master was like, what? Off with your head. Tap in. And now you got the slave saying, well, I already treat my master the way I'm supposed to, but now you telling me what? That I'm supposed to treat this person the same way I'm treating God. It's just, so it was like, it just blows my mind. But I do understand what's being told to me and how I can convey this message in today's terms. It is a lot to digest for the collective. This was radical spiritual equality. I need you to understand, radical spiritual equality. Whoa. This was saying that you got to treat each other equally in an economy that thrived off of severe oppression, having permanent underclasses, treating people as subhuman. This was that saying that they deserve the same treatment as the person who was like the most like that. I will never calm down when I'm talking about God, boo, ever. And that was a straight up demon that came up in here. Tap in. Radical healing and radical equality. And this was the counterculture. Right, a straight Nancy. And this is where the collective is sitting right now. The collective is the counterculture. The collective is finding their way and making their voices known in the ways that they know how, even in a system of oppression, even if it's just one voice at that time, that there is not going to be any intolerance from one person to the next. And I'm telling you, these people that weaponize selective reading, they gonna be judged. It's gonna come. And they gotta hold their nutsack. They gotta be able to, if it don't get castrated before they get to the judgment zone, before they get to the scales. Tap in. I believe, and there was another creator, I cannot think of her name right now, but she spoke about how, and then she's not only a well-read woman, but she is someone who studied theology, who grew up in the church, all of that. And she said, I believe that the changing of the guard from wickedness in high places and the exposure and expulsion is going to take place in our lifetimes. Collective, I need you to listen to me. I know that you did not come here for an assignment. You did not come in here saying, oh, Cass gonna give us an assignment today. No, you got an assignment, boo. You got an assignment, boo. Because I feel the exact same way. We are too much in this peak of contention with the world. It is too much pressure on the collective spirit. And there will be an uprising with the collective in the spirit that is going to overturn and change the world as we know it. Tap in. And your assignment, if you are still here on planet Earth, if I am still here on planet Earth, whether I'm this age or it's 40 years from now, is to be available for those that need the support. Now, if I'm 80 years old, don't expect me to go out there with the pow, okay? Don't expect me to go out there, knuck if you buck, all right? There's a different assignment in that level of my life, but nevertheless, it's an assignment. And just like Paul had an assignment here, and he had followers, and he had people that believed in his word and possibly wrote this letter, is the same way that the collective will be spreading the word as well. Tap in. And I don't believe, I got to tell you straight up, I do not believe that the collective is going to go around with this book, with the Bible. I don't believe that the Bible will be in the hand of everybody, because I feel like the collective innately knows what needs to be said. This is a great guide. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying put it down. I'm not saying get rid of it. And I know that many of you have multiple modalities of belief. I think this book is way cool. Okay, I think it's a bomb instruction book. Okay, and the more that I read it, the more I absolutely just fall in love with it, because I'm like, whoa, everything still applies. Everything still applies. Well, and there are people out there who believe everything in here is allegory. Tap in. There are people out there who believe that this is not an original story. Tap in. I just want you to be very clear that I understand the different levels of this. That does not take away from the messages within, the powerful messages within this book. Okay? I believe the collective, using this and other texts as guides, will be able to usher in the New World Order. Tap in. Oh, I know that's a term y'all ain't heard in a long time. I know the New World Order was not a term y'all thought I was going boom, pop upside your head right now. Who remembers? Type of 1 in the chat if you remember. Back in the early days of YouTube, you had all the information about the Illuminati. You had all the information about the dark rituals that they were doing. You had all of the information about the rituals and the Illuminati. Oh, yeah, I said that, and the New World Order. And like, YouTube was the wild, wild west back in the day, okay? And the conspiracy corner was next level, okay? I happen to believe a lot of those conspiracies. Tap in, just because it's a conspiracy don't mean that it ain't true, all right? Holy God rules. I agree. But that's not who's ruling right now at all. We got people that's not in order. We got people that's causing pain right here, right now. The ultimate is that. But we looking wickedness in the face right now. We are in a spiritual war right now. That's not a joke. That's not, a game. And to pass it off, I'm not saying you do it. What I'm saying is that I see this all the time. To pass it off and dismiss it and say, oh, God got this, is actively disengaging from what you're supposed to be as a spiritual prayer warrior and saying the next person got it. We all got it. We all got to be here. You feel me? Whether you just stepping into this like me, and I take that. There are millions of people who are way more well-studied on this than I am. Tap in. But I know what I just read. And what I just read is one of the verses that has been heavily manipulated. Okay, so you're not following the laws of the land you live in? You not, so you just out there breaking the law, you just out there, just out there doing whatever, okay? Because if you follow the Holy Spirit, then you breaking the laws in your own country, because we know the laws in our own country don't follow the Holy Spirit. I just need you to be clear about what you're saying here, as if we don't live in the real world. And that is a part of the frustration. Don't dismiss the fact that people are out here feeling this, that are struggling, that need to hear a word and not just say, I follow the Holy Spirit, or I just do this with God, and not act like the world ain't happening outside your window. That's wild. This letter from Paul even say that. Even Paul was like, yo, I follow God, but I gotta say something about this. Tap in. I gotta go into the heart of the beast. Tap in. I gotta go into the heart of the beast and tell these people that are ruling this country, tap in, that they not treating their slaves right. Oh my God, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Just in the days of Emmett Till, scratch that. Just in the days of the 90s, scratch that. Just in the days of the move system, scratch that. Just last month, after the Supreme Court ruled that the freedmen that were a part of tribes could now have their citizenship back with Native American tribes. That just happened. Imagine how many times somebody had to go in here and tell a tribal land what you have done to the freedmen was wrong and you need to give their citizenship back. Tap in. Like, yo, that's what Paul is saying he did to a system that has been around for a long time. And guess what? The native tribes was like, we're not giving none of them their citizenship, or they I think it's what it's called, for tribal land, for Native American citizenship. We're going to take this to the Supreme Court. It has been denied and denied and denied and denied like 4-5 times before the Supreme Court was like, whoa, the argument that they have is compelling. And they are righteous and they deserve to be a part of the tribe because they were a part of the tribe before the natives turned on the black people that were already a part of their tribes. Now, y'all might not want to go there. You might not want to believe that, but that's what happened. Just saying. That's what this is. Paul went into the lion's den and said, you got to treat the people that you enslave like God. Oh my gosh. I wish we could time travel and just see the moment where that took place, because I want to see the look on their faces. Tap in. I'm trying to tell you. But back to my point. Baby, I studied under a priestess that is so cold outside of my grandmother. That's so cold that she told me, you need to usher in the new world order. Damn what them folks talking about. They want to usher in laws of the new world order. Damn that. You usher in your own. And it's going to be people who see your vision, who understand the tools that you have, can lead them into a new world order. Tap in. And that's why I'm here to tell the collective today. I started this live stream at 3:33 p.m. on August 30th. Tap in. I was unsure how this conversation was going to go. I just knew that the collective feels so heavy, sometimes lost, sometimes, most times scared. We don't know what's about to come. We know it's coming. You know what I mean? Like, we got the grand scheme of things. But the way these folks moving, the way these folks are pulling out all types of laws and subjugating the citizens of countries, the way we are watching real life slave trades happening in front of our eyes, the way that they are snatching up citizens right here in the United States and shipping them off to other countries with no ID, with no ability to speak to their family. Thank you. The way we watching our children suffer under a spell. The attack on our babies. Full-blown attack on our babies. The attack on women. The attack on the divine masculine and divine feminine. The attack on family, the attack on healing, the attack on mental health, the attack on education, the attack on our food. Like the oppressive systems that the collective is working through, it's time to usher in a new world order. Tap in. There's nothing wrong with rituals. So I hope that's not what you said, but or what you're saying. What I'm saying about the negative is rituals. Yeah, I don't have a problem with rituals. You got prayer is a ritual, but I do exactly. I absolutely agree with you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. This message is for the collective that feels like they don't have nowhere to move, that might be unsure about their assignments, who might believe that their gifts don't matter. This is for the collective who feels like all they can do is cry and weep. And I feel the same way. I feel like I cry and I weep. I have to. That is my way of grieving for those who are not only lost their lives for the good fight, but is continuously suffering due to the good fight. This passage opened up a part of me where I have a hard time gripping with parts of reality, that I have a gift for speaking life into people, asking them to prepare for their blessings, asking them to share their blessings, like not show off, but just be proud of your blessings, be proud of your fights that you have won, be proud of who you are, while they still dealing with the suffering and oppression. That is a real duality that we face, collective. And I don't want you to lose sight that 2 and 3 things can be true at the same time. Tap in. That's the message that was on my heart today. This letter, Ephesians, is a lot, because it challenges me, maybe not you, but it challenges me to take a step back and look at how it is that I'm guiding people who trust me, They trust me. Let me tell you something. Thank you, Grandma, for this awesome Bible, and thank you for your notes in this awesome Bible as well. I was going through this just real quick, and my grandma, this piece of paper is from 2011. And it was the information to her older sister's homegoing. I kind of cried over that. But anyway, let me just continue on. People trust me. I need to be very clear. People trust me with holding the hand. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to me. With holding the hands of their loved ones as they take their last breath. Oh my gosh. People trust me to sit with their moms and their dads and their grandparents when they're not around. When the people cannot speak for themselves, they trust me to be an advocate for their loved ones. People trust me in threshold moments. People trust me. That is not something I take lightly. And I feel like this passage, where I'm reading Paul's mission to the Gentiles, where I'm reading Christ brings spiritual blessings from death to life, united by Christ. Like when I'm reading this, the old life and the new life, when I'm reading these passages, you are trusting me to bring this information in a way that is relevant, that is not dismissive to those who truly study this and believe wholeheartedly in it. Y'all trust me to say, this is what I am experiencing. This is the message. This is how I'm channeling this message. This is the knowledge base that I'm coming from. Y'all trust me to be real with that, and I don't take that lightly. So when I'm seeing this and I'm like, this is challenging me, this is challenging my soul, this is challenging how I communicate with y'all. It's real. It is like unstripped, like the raw version. Okay, what's the name? Unplugged. All right. Yeah, come on here and I pull a car here and there, but y'all know I take your transformation incredibly serious. Through hell, come hell, and high water. I take that transformation seriously. When I'm reading a passage that has been so heavily manipulated to the point where it's still being used today, double tap that screen. Y'all hit the like button. 9 likes, y'all. Come on, y'all. That's still to this day being heavily manipulated against my people, against your people. This passage has sat in my face. People have said this passage in my face and told me that my people deserve to be enslaved and that they deserve to be treated like trash and that they still less than human and that they must treat their masters as God, and that's just the way that it is. Yet they conveniently leave out the second part of that, which says slave owners, you must, not you should, not you could, not you kinda. I'm not on that right now. I'm on a whole nother passage. Not you kinda, shoulda, kinda, maybe, kinda. No, it's telling you you must treat your slaves with the same respect. And when you don't, when this world does not, treat the oppressed the same way, it is a form of disrespect. And we know that when the collective is feeling disrespected, the collective gets disrespectful. Tap in. Tap in. Now, I'm not saying we go out there, just do what them folks did on the 6th of January and throw them down. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that there are consequences and repercussions for going against the promise, not our promise, but their promise. They the ones that put the title on that name, on their name, that they follow this. Tap in. That's what's happening. We not getting the same treatment that they demand from us, and the collective don't like that. So when they talking about all this new world order, they think they ushering in some demonic energy to control us, to enslave us, and we not getting the same treatment that Paul went in and said, you better. You ain't got no choice. This is the way of this is the law, the spiritual law of the land. Tap in. What you think that counterculture gonna look like? That's all I'm saying. That's my message. You get what you give. This is just like the more I look at this passage, the more I really just want to cry, y'all. The more I look at this passage, the more I see how people have justified slavery and oppression based off of just part. They don't never read the whole thing. Part of this passage. The more I believe that as a global citizen, the only form of reparations is to overturn whatever new world order, the old world order, overturn that and usher in our new world order that is through the Holy Spirit, as my God said earlier. Of course, pay the money, tap in. But there is no other form of payment. As a global citizen, knowing that millions of people are suffering from starvation, suffering from mutilation. I'm using, like, I don't even know, YouTube might actually just strike this, but I don't even know because the language I'm using. But what we know is that's happening. That's what we know. The oppressed is not getting the same treatment. And it's frustrating. I, like many of you, are feeling that pull. We are feeling that rare opening in the cosmos that this big shift is happening. And some of y'all might not know what to do with that energy. Heck, sometimes I don't know what to do with that energy. But what I do know is that I and the collective is an agent for change. And I know I talked about preparation season. Whoa, this is coming to me. I know that I talked about preparation season. I am now seeing that God has put me through the struggles that I had to go, like I went through. The way that I have digested change and transformation at the drop of a dime. The way that I was able to transmute a lot of that pain, a lot of that energy, and create something great. I know that I am supposed to be a guide for others. Tap in. I want you to take a moment to reflect and look at all of the times you was put under pressure. I want you to look at all the times where you thought it was going to be the very end, that you wasn't going to make it. Shit, sometimes you didn't make it. I want you to look at all those times and say, whoa, God was preparing me to get on assignment, to get in alignment for my assignment. Tap in. Now that's a word. That's a word. Happening now. That's why, not even knowing, like, when I channel my messages, if you was here for my message yesterday, channeling, yeah, my mama is texting me. Channeling that message, I didn't even realize that I didn't know that I was gonna come in here and talk about preparation once again and what that looks like. But I said yesterday that you don't have long to prepare. You don't have until the end of the year. You got about 30 days. You got about 35 days to get your affairs in order. Everything that's on your checklist that you've been meaning to check off, you need to do that now. Tap in. And here I am today, looking at the words drama queen and love in reverse and spiritual bad. Here I am looking at these very words like this is heavy. For love to be in reverse, I know the collective is sick and tired of being manipulated, used, let down, lied to, talked about, interrupted, disrespected. I know that the collective is just like, yo, enough is enough. 2112 is what I see on my screen. 2212. I'm telling you, what I felt yesterday for the preparation season is what I'm feeling today, but with a much heavier message. Yesterday was about receiving your blessings, and they're still gonna come. Tap in, blessings don't come. But the other side of that, because I said yesterday, you gotta prepare for these blessings. If you do not want to understand the full heaviness of it. Your blessings. Hey, Christian. Your blessings are going to prepare you to come into, usher in, step into your new role for the new world order. The real new world order. The one where the collective is in the forefront. And I don't want you to make no mistake about it, collective. Time is the essence. Time is the essence. We expecting when I say like be prepared, oh, tomorrow's gonna happen. Like, yo, we on this planet for a finite amount of time. You got these evildoers preparing their legacies to continue on with the evil. Y'all's president's son look just as evil as the president. Tap in. The president pappy look just as evil as the president. Tap in. The president grandpappy look just as evil as the pappy, as the one today, and the legacy. They are preparing their legacies. It's time to prepare yours. Tap in. These people in it for the long haul. Oppression is in it for the long haul. Hey, E, got your emails. The long haul. We talking about generations. We talking about generational. We always talking about generational wealth. What about your generational spirituality? What about the mission? Tap in. That's what I'm on. That's what you want. And it's people still in their journey that haven't quite put their finger on it. They haven't quite found their life niche. But you're going to see it. You're going to see it, collective. You're going to see it. And it is your obligation to grab them and say, hey, young blood. Hey, young blood. Let me put you on game. Let me put you on game. And it's okay to say, I don't know the answer to your question, but we can figure it out together. I just know that you have a gift. And it's easy for their gifts, these young, the younger generations, easy for their gifts to get squashed or or erased or muddled. That's the word I was looking for out here in the world, because the world don't respect spiritual gifts. So they might think that they crazy, or they might think that it's not real or something like that. And it is your job, collective, to look at the next generation, our legacy, and be like, yo, you got it. There is opportunity to thrive here. And I know that you want to be with them fools who look like they having fun now. But it's going to come a point in time where that's not going to be the case. It's going to come a point in time where they might turn to you for clarity and to become a part of an army that cares about the next level. Tap in. I need y'all to see how this rolls over. I need y'all to see how you tap the next person on the shoulder and that person tap the next person on the shoulder. I know y'all see there's always one in a group where you like, you got it. You got the gift. You got it. What are you doing? And because they in the world, because they participating in the culture instead of being part of the counterculture, and that's young mind stuff, you know. They don't see it, but you do. And it's not your job, collective, to be like, you need to change your life. It's your job to point out the gift. You have a gift. And you have choices. What you choose to do with your gift is going to be up to you. But I hope you choose the good side. Tap in. It's a lot of people that's locked up behind bars that got that same speech, and they found out it was too late. Tap in. Now they getting out, and now they see the light, and now they able to teach from a place of they had to learn their lesson. Y'all know this is a total side note and it might sidetrack my mindset, but Oprah, take that for what you want, okay? Oprah did this special a long time ago. Let me search for it, y'all. Oprah did this special on prisoners who were doing hospice, okay? And it was she was highlighting a program that had been in place for quite some time. And these were like prisoners who did like crimes, like crimes, okay? Like lifers. Tap in, okay? And I remember having a conversation with somebody who saw this and said, if that person did something like that against my family member, I don't care what they did to somebody, for somebody at the end of their life. And I understood that. I'm like, yeah, I feel you. But also, one of the parts of humanity, through loss, through grief, through trauma, through moments of where you are in despair, through hate, does this person not deserve redemption? Tap in. It is not up to you. I was telling this person, it is not up to you to tell them whether or not they have redeemed themselves. That is not a part of your assignment in this context. That's a hard pill to swallow. So when I said that, when I was reminded of like the prisoners in the hospice program, it reminded me as I was saying that people find out after many levels of ignoring their gifts, many times where they didn't listen to that one person that said, you are somebody special and you can change the world. And instead of going on a path that would nurture that, if they had a path for that, tap in. Because some people just didn't have that choice. I need you to understand, some people were born into a life of crime, literally. And I recognize that as a system of oppression. Tap in, going back to that. They now have to find a path that still allows them to use that part of their gift. And while I am a fan of judging people's actions and judging people's auras, especially when you out here in the world, you know, listen to your intuition, I can't judge that. And I had to lay that for the person I was speaking to. Yes, you could still be hurt if somebody did that to your family. You have a right to. But in their redemption journey, they have a right to find their path as well. Except if you hurt babies. You don't, or old people. No, you don't deserve that. I'm sorry. I had to put a caveat there. Let me put a caveat there. Unless you want them files. Tap in. Okay? Let me just put a caveat in that. Unless you want them files, homie. No. Because you sick. Just wanted to put that out there. All right? Tap in. Type 1 to chat, you with me on that, okay? I had to clarify that, okay? No, I'm sorry. My name is not in this book, okay? I can't go that far deep with it. I'm sorry. Tap in. Let me make sure it's past in this book. Nope. Okay. Tap in. Oh my goodness, y'all. So those are my thoughts today. All right. I'm not sure if I completed everything that I was thinking about, but what I did do was work through some thoughts that I had about this passage. If you are somebody who, I have subscribers who send me videos all the time, educational videos all the time. They send me music. I listen to everything. If I don't already know the song, I listen to it. I watch everything. I might not always respond. I might let you know, like, hey, I got the videos. And I watch when I'm doing dishes around the house, when I'm cleaning up, when I'm chilling with my husband. I watch, I listen, all of that, okay? Please don't over bombard me because I've only got so much. But if anybody comes across someone teaching about this passage, send it to me. cashyoungcrown@gmail.com. If you are someone who has studied this letter from Paul or a follower of Paul, and you want to put something in the comment section, I'm open. I'm open to learning. As I stated before, I am in no way qualified through the educational lens or the study route, because I'm still stepping into my priestesshood to teach this on a high theological spectrum. But I just saw connecting fiber here. And I wanted to share it with the collective because it's important to me along this journey. Tap in. Real quick before I go, okay? Please make sure that you like this video. Please make sure that you comment and subscribe if you are not subscribed already, okay? My name is Cash Young Crown. I'm your favorite Southern California intuitive speaker. Y'all can see it's a beautiful day outside. I'm about to go get me some ice cream, okay? But tap in. And my goal is to help you diagnose spiritual warfare like I just did here, okay? And receive therapeutic guidance and reclaim your frequency through motivational spirituality. My membership is here. That's coming, 2020. Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, my membership is coming. It's here. And when I say coming, there are 2 levels. The first level is $299. You get the custom emojis. And you will get my monthly forecast and my extended newsletters. I will start adding those in there. And then there's another level where I am doing all of my premium content in, y'all. So let's say I do this and y'all like, whoa, Cass, let me send you this video that I know. And I look at that video and there's a deeper message and I want to talk about it. I'm not going to do it on here like that, because this is very niche. This is like very niche for my area of YouTube. So we want to take it into the membership. Your sacred season, the 6-week private container, will be in the membership. I am going to do a full-blown prayer alchemy walkthrough in the membership. I'm going to do the spiritual war room with Cass in the membership. So I want you to keep a lookout for all of that information, which will be posted on my community tab in the upcoming days. And yeah, the other thing is I am opening up my premium packages once again. Okay. There was a long time where I was booked and busy, y'all. Okay. I know, like, I come on here and I kick it with y'all, but and I talk about here and there about being a hospice social worker, but I take that very seriously. And a part of that journey is I show up for people privately. I usher in threshold services, rituals, prayer circles, all of those type of things. I sit with people during their final times. I am with people in the funeral homes. I am with people during the funeral. I do a lot of that. I also do private readings near the beach. I have a service called Tides and Tarot. Tap in, tap in. So a lot of the surfers, once they get done surfing, or people that like to do like morning walks or sunset walks, sometimes they want a little spiritual, like, a spiritual homie. So I come there with my cards, and sometimes they want to pull a card, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they tell me, like, I was thinking about the Hierophant today, and I really want to go deeper into that. So we go deeper into it, okay? Tides and Tarot can also be done online, but it's kind of difficult, especially if you're like in a landlocked location. But if you're like on a lake or something like that, we can do it online. It's not a problem. The other service that I offer is Convos with Cass, and that has transformed from Coffee with Cass. And a lot of people were thinking they had to drink coffee with me, and I'm just like, no, it's a chill vibe. So it's not tarot based, it's more just conversational. Like, if you wanted to call me up and say, hey, let's have a conversation, that's what it is. I really love that one. That is also online and in person, and I cover most of Southern California. I also cover parts of Baja California as well. Tap in, got that global entry, okay? So there's that. A lot of y'all might not know, but my business popped off in Baja California. It's a lot of oldies that live down there. I just put my talents to use, and that's what it is. But anyway, and then I have 2 more services that I'm rolling out, but that's at a later date. They are higher tiered services that talk about full day interactions, and there's also a global service as well. So those are rolling out at a later date. So I just wanted to make you guys aware that that's what's going on. If you are Southern California based, or you'll be in the area and you would like to book one of those services, I will have those online very soon. My higher tier services, my threshold services, where I sit down with people in comas, I do all of that. Like, those are application based. Okay, tap in. All right. But everything else can be booked or emailed, and I'll work with you. Okay, tap in. If you are a part of my membership, I'm working out something where it's not going to be too difficult to allow you guys to use a special code and be able to get those services for membership pricing. Okay, so just give me some time. I'm a one-woman show. All right, and sometimes these things they take time. They're tedious, but that's what it is. 11:22 I see on my screen. I love you guys so much. Thank you for sitting with me today. Yes, thank you, Travis. Thank you so much. I'm I'm just excited to be here with you guys. I'm excited that I was able to have this conversation with you. Again, I'm open to education and learning. Thank you to my Grams, who I know is watching over me, for leaving me all of her Bibles, every last one of them. I do with these what I'm meant to do with these. And she could have not left me a better legacy, especially as I'm stepping into my priestesshood at a later age. And I feel like it's the best time to do it. So, all right, y'all. I love you. I will see you tomorrow. Tap in. I will see you tomorrow for our long energy reading. Y'all, we all bust it wide open, okay, in a good way, okay, not in the OF way, okay. We gonna bust all this information wide open. I cannot wait to see you guys tomorrow. I love you, love you, love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, got memberships, and I will see you on the flip side. Hashtag Team U. Bye.